So I really loved this episode. I thought it was such an interesting episode, just about how they talked about everything from the origins of Africa to the culture of Africa. I just found it all to be so interesting. One thing that I really enjoyed hearing about was when they talked about culture, they talked about the okra block and how it was ground down, and it was mixed with water and minerals, and it was used as paint. And then it was used as paint to put on the body to translate messages to other members of the group. And I did have a question when it came to that. I thought it was interesting that they used the paint um, to to signify some sort of like relationship, and also to translate messages. But my question is exactly what messages would they possibly be translating by doing this? And my other question is, sometimes you have different groups of people or different tribes and things like that. So I wanted to know, does each tribe or group of people have a different um, message that they use? Like, do they have different symbols and stuff that they use when they paint on their bodies? So that was my main question that I found interesting, or that I really wanted to know from this episode. And also, something that I just found interesting in general was at the end when they were talking a lot about Egypt. They mentioned by saying when new civilization is developed, there's a lot of warfare and bloodshed that's involved. And I thought that was just interesting, and it was just something to like recap on, especially when they said people always want what you have, which is how the history of civilization basically comes about. So that's what I found interesting in this episode. There's a ton of more things that I found interesting that I wrote down, but those were the main two that I really wanted to talk about. And once again, my question just is, like I said, what were these symbols that were being painted on the body, and what were the possible messages that they were translating to other groups of their or other members of their group? And that's it.